One other reason, besides the fact that we don't have complete specialization, for which we, in a sense, like better this model of trade of lecture 4 compared to the model of trade of lecture 3, it's also because it gives us a more elaborate narrative on what happens to income in our economy. In lecture 2, we had only labor income or wages, and we could draw some conclusions of what was happening to wages after we were opening up to trade. Now here income is a little more complex. We have rental rate of capital, so the income from owning the machines and renting them to the firms, and we have labor income as before. It happens to be true that in this economy, two famous economists, Stolper and Samuelson, proved that there is a very important result. When we open up to trade in this economy, the abundant factor in the economy is benefiting, meaning that its return will grow, and the scarce factor will be harmed. Let's make clear we understand this statement with a simple example. We've said that in country A, we have relative abundance of capital, while in country B, we have relative abundance of labor. This statement, this theorem actually by Stolper and Samuelson, tells us that capital will benefit and labor will be harmed. What do we mean by that? It means that in country A, after we open up to trade, labor, who is the scarce factor, who is the non-abundant factor, will receive a lower return. And what is the return of labor? It's the wage. So the wages will go down in country A, while the interest rate on capital, so the return on investment, which is a form of income, will go up because A is capital abundant. The opposite happens in B. B is labor abundant. That means that labor will be benefiting from opening up to trade. And so we said that this means that wages will go up and capital is going to be harmed, meaning that the return on investments in capital will go down. What is the intuition for this very interesting mechanism? Well, suppose that let's take the perspective of country B for now, while in the slides you can read the other perspective for country A. We open up to trade and country B is going to export textiles, which are a good that is using labor in an intensive fashion. So it's a good that requires a lot of labor and not so much capital. Okay, so now we want to produce more textiles after we open up to trade, because now we have to serve not only our local demand, but also we have to export it. And so we have to serve the international demand for textiles. This means that the demand for textiles in the economy, for production of textiles in the economy, will go up. And so the firms in a country B will demand what? They will demand a lot more labor and maybe a little more capital, but not really. So the demand for labor goes up, the supply of labor is fixed, the wage must go up in country B. At the same time, I want to abandon the production of soybeans, at least partially, in country B. This means that the firms producing soybeans were doing a large part of the demand for capital in the economy. Now demand for capital in the economy is going down. If the demand for capital in the economy overall is going down after we open up to trade, then there's less demand for capital, and so the price of capital, which is its rate of return on the investment, will fall.